guys, and welcome to another of Maltalingua's free English lessons with me, Brian. It's been a while since you saw me here by myself, but in today's video we're going to look at irregular verbs. Yes, again, if you follow our YouTube channel, you'll find that there is another video on irregular verbs. You can find the link down below. That video is with Abby. This is a part 2. The first video was about irregular verbs in quite a simple explanation for people whose level of English is a little bit lower. In this video, we're going to look at some more advanced tips and tricks and also some information on pronunciation as to how we can improve our knowledge and our memory of irregular verbs. So let's chat about that. Tip 1. How many verbs do you think are there in the English language? Thousands. Thousands of them, all right? But how many irregular verbs do you think exist in the English language? If you had to guess. The answer is around 350. But do you need to know all 350 irregular verbs? Probably not. But what is the problem with irregular verbs? We use them every day. Some verbs we use all the time in their 3 forms, in their infinitive form, past simple form, past participle form. So, I've drawn this table over here where I will be showing you, in a second, the 20 most common irregular verbs in English. I'm going to give you a minute to draw that on a piece of paper and try and write what you think are the 20 most common, or 20 of the most common irregular verbs in English. You have a second, you can pause the video to write your 20 verbs down. And here they are, all 20 of them. How many did you guess? Did you guess at least 10? If so, that's really, really good. Why are these verbs really important? They are all high-frequency verbs. That is, you cannot avoid using them. You have to use them. So it is super important to know the 3 forms of the verb. Now, I'm going to quickly focus a little bit on the 3 verbs in the corner. Why are they in red? That's because besides using them as main verbs in sentences, for example, I am Maltese or I do yoga, they are also used as auxiliary verbs to help us build other tenses, other verb forms. For example, I am talking to you, or I was talking to you. I have been a teacher for the last 3 years, so there we can use it to make a perfect form. And do to make negatives, I don't speak Japanese, or I didn't go out last night. We also use them in their 3rd form. I've been a teacher, we've had a lovely evening, or I've done an exam, for example. Okay, the others are all extremely common verbs. Make, eat, take. So make sure that you can immediately think of the 3 forms of the verb. Eat, at, eaten. Think, thought, thought. Know, knew, know, etc. And we're going to look at how we can remember them better. Okay, tip number 2. Now that we have the 20 most common verbs, the irregular verbs in English, and well, all of the others, as I said, there are 350 of them. How do I memorize all of them? Well, I'm going to give you a few tips and tricks as to how you might do this. Find what works for you and go with it. So, firstly, find a partner. Work with someone. It can really help you. Find a classmate, someone in your town or city or office who is also studying English, and test each other. For example, I'm practicing with my partner. I give them the verb know, and they give me knew and known. They give me get, and I give them got, gotten, or got, depending on whether you're studying US or UK English, all right? Keep in mind that some verbs have different forms depending on UK or US English. You can extend that, you can challenge your partner not only to give you the irregular verbs, past simple and past participle, but to put them in a sentence like Abby suggested in the previous video. For example, if we take the verb make, I make a lot of money. I can put that in the past simple. I made some food last night. And the third form, I've just made some dinner. Secondly, go online. The internet is a wonderful thing. There are so many websites, so many games that you can do to practice your irregular verbs. So find what works for you. Find a website that you like. Thirdly, something that you can do at home is to make your own flashcards. I have a few over here in my hand, like these ones over here. So if you can see over here, I have the word speak. Now, my job is to try and remember what the past simple and past participle are. So speak, speak, spoke, spoken. And I turn it over where I have the words again. All right? I can do that with the word eat. Okay? And then I think, eat, at, eaten, which I have over here. And again, extend that, yeah? I eat vegetables every day. I ate dinner an hour ago. I've already eaten today. Okay, and the last one I have over here is the verb take. Okay? Can you remember what the past simple and participle forms are? Take, took, taken. And those are over here. Okay, so you can build your own set of flashcards to use to occasionally help you remember maybe more difficult irregular verbs. Okay, you can actually cut these up into cards, use Pelmanism. So for example, you have one card with the verb take, another card with the verb in the past and participle took, taken. Put them all face down and play a matching game. So you turn it into something that is quite fun as well. And lastly, and very importantly, test yourself often, especially if you have problems with these. Make sure that every few days you pick up your cards, your flashcards, you speak to a friend, you go online, and you check what you can remember, especially at the beginning. Okay, Group C is where the past simple and past participle are different, and therefore, yes, you need to learn all three forms. But again, there are patterns you can use. In some cases, like with the verb break, changes to broke. So the A sound in break, or is it over there? Break, changes to broke, broke. To make the participle, add an N, broken. Break, broke, broken. Similar verbs like that. Choose, chose, chosen. Speak, spoke, spoken. If you do it a number of times with different verbs, you'll see it starts to sound a bit like a rap. Okay? So maybe turn it into a rap, make it into a song, find something that works for you and use it. Okay? Other examples like ride, rode, ridden, write, wrote, written. Again, similar pattern. In verbs like, this is my favorite phonetically. With a verb like begin, begin, the sound on the on the second syllable is the I sound, begin. Okay? Past simple form, began. Past participle, begun. Okay? Begin, began, begun. This is, I think, the most difficult to pronounce. Other examples, drink, drank, drunk. Sing, sang, sung. Swim, swam, swum. And then, of course, there are the absolute irregulars that have absolutely no pattern, like eat, at, eaten, give, gave, given, go, went, gone, etc., etc. Okay, final tip, number 4. And this one is a bit of an advanced tip, okay, for those of you who really want to take your English further. As you probably know, we don't usually just use verbs on their own in English. A lot of the time, we love to slide them into a phrasal verb and to use them in phrasal verbs, and we use them all the time when we speak. In case you've forgotten, a phrasal verb is always made up of at least 2 things, a verb and a particle or particles. Now, particle or particles are usually prepositions. So what I would like to do is to go back to the 20 verbs I had here on the board and think of phrasal verbs that you can make with those irregular verbs, because they are extremely common. I'm going to give you a couple of examples and I'm going to put them over here on the board. For example, take. One of the phrasal verbs that you can make with take is take off. One of the meanings that take off has, it has a lot of meaning, is for a plane, for example. The plane takes off in half an hour. Another phrasal verb that you can make with the verb take is take up. To take up. For example, I've decided to take up football, which means I've decided to start doing football in my free time. This is not true, okay? I'm going to give you another example with another verb. Something that you're very familiar with is the verb get, and a phrasal verb that you probably already know is what you do every morning. You get up. Okay? Get up is a very common phrasal verb, but you can also do this. Get over. Get over. Let's imagine you had a boyfriend or a girlfriend. You broke up. That's another one, to break up. And now you are getting over this boyfriend or girlfriend and you're trying to get better. So, those were my 4 tips on how to remember and memorize irregular verbs in English. What are your tips and tricks? How do you remember all those irregular verbs? Let us know in the comments below. And who knows, if you leave us some really cool suggestions or tips, we might make another video, so there will actually be a part 3. That's up to you. I hope that you found this video useful and that it will make your life a little bit easier when remembering irregular verbs in English. So, if you liked this video, give it a thumbs up, share it with all your friends, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more brilliant videos like this one. And don't forget, if you want to be notified as soon as we release another video, make sure to click the notification bell somewhere below. I have no idea where that is, sorry guys. So, I really hope to see you in our next video. Stay tuned for more, and until next time, bye and thanks for watching. Bye guys.